Oh my God. Okay. So first of all, thank you so much for doing this.
You're welcome.
You know what? Let me check that I'm recording everywhere. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit. I'm curious, for me, as somebody beginning as a vegan, what would you say is like one of the biggest obstacles for somebody starting out as a vegan?
I think it comes down to being prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Because the habits it will just happen over time when you repeatedly eat a certain way. But I think in terms of when you're traveling or in social situations, you're gonna have to think about food in advance. Whereas like if you eat anything that you might not have to, I feel like that as a vegan, you have to plan out not your meals, but kind of like if you know you're going to be in a certain environment or with certain people and you're not sure you're going to be able to eat vegan food, it's good to like have a backup plan. So like bring food with you,
Right.
or call the restaurant before and ask if they have vegan options. I feel like nowadays it's becoming more and more common, so you can pretty much eat vegan anywhere.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to end up, and it has happened to me a few times that like I came to a restaurant and they had no vegan options, or like the only thing they had was like a salad with no dressing, or like something super boring that's not going to fill you up and you're going to pay an expensive price for. And it's just uncomfortable for you and the other people so you're with. Like you don't want to be that annoying person like asking to remove every single ingredient from a dish so that they can make it vegan. So I think that in certain situations you have to plan in advance, but like that's like the main thing. I would say like the main challenge that I've seen in people not succeeding being vegan is simply because they didn't anticipate and they weren't prepared.
Right. So, do you still get like urges to, well, how should I say this? Do you still get cravings to eat meat or to eat any sort of animal product at all?
No, it doesn't appeal to me. Like when I see it, I don't see it as food anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of weird. Like for me, it's just not an option.
Right.
Um, I would say that like it took a while. I did have cravings, I would say, within the first 6 months. But for me, it was after 6 months I was vegan. I watched a documentary about the animal industry, agriculture, and so they you really show what's happening when it comes to producing animal products such as dairy and meat and fish and all this stuff. And it's just like, as soon as I made this connection and I saw what was happening, for me, it was, it couldn't even, I did not consider this food anymore. For me, it was just a dead piece of animal, and it wasn't meat or fish or whatnot, because I associated it with all the suffering and cruelty that's happening.
So those are valid reasons. I don't know if I explained to you. I obviously care about animal suffering and the environment. I think the environment's a really big one. But the reason I'm actually trying this is for mental clarity, like so that I don't go through such deep food comas and stuff like that. Do you feel like veganism has helped you with mental clarity?
Yeah, for sure. Especially raw veganism.
Ooh.
Because
I'm not at that level
I was
yet.
doing like mono diets, when you eat only one type of fruit for a specific amount of time. I was so clear because I never thought about food. I just knew that was the only thing I was going to eat, and I never wondered, oh, what can I mix it with and how can I prepare it? It was just like that one thing and that's it.
But how about general veganism?
Sorry?
But do you think you felt more mentally clear with just general veganism, or not so much?
Yeah, I would say like in general, plant-based products are easier to digest than animal-based products. So they're gonna require your body less energy to digest and process. than animal-based products, and so in consequence of that, you're gonna have more energy for your brain,
Right.
and that's gonna affect your clarity.
Do you still go through food coma?
Rarely.
Rarely.
Like I don't know what you, I think it's very personal, like what you believe food coma is, but I remember that before being vegan, like over Christmas and New Year's and stuff like that, everybody would like not eat after 2 days of Christmas, and they would just like, yeah, just quit food altogether, and they weren't hungry, and they would all gain like, I don't know, 6 pounds over a couple of days. And and like since I became vegan, for me it's like a normal meal, and I will just continue eating the same as I'm used to after Christmas dinner or Christmas lunch or whatever, because it just doesn't make you feel so full and stagnant in a way. I don't know how to explain. It just like it just digests, and a couple hours later, I'm like, okay, where's the food? I'm hungry again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow. That's interesting.
I think that one thing that's important when you try veganism, and anyone who's vegan, is to be eating enough. I think that's one of the other obstacles, because people think that plant-based foods and normal or other foods are same amount of calories and stuff, and actually plant-based foods like fruits and vegetables obviously have a lot less calories than conventional meals you're used to make. And even if you recreate like a normal dish and veganize it, probably the vegan version of it is gonna have less calories. And so you have to make sure you're eating more volume that you used to eat as a traditional American diet. I don't know if that's clear.
Absolutely.
Because otherwise, then that's when people end up with nutrient deficiencies, is because simply they're just not eating enough, or they're like, yeah, but I tried going vegan, but I was always hungry, and I had to eat every hour. But no, if you eat consistent meal, as in train your stomach to expand to a bigger volume, then you're gonna be full for longer. You know. I was gonna ask how it's going so far.
Oh yeah, that's a good question. The truth is, I realize I'm gonna have to put a little bit more effort into feeding myself. I can't be so lazy, but I think that's a good thing too. It's almost like I realized that eating healthy requires a little bit more effort, whether or not you're eating animal products. And so I'm trying to make like local stuff. I had something called a tlacoyo last night, which is kind of like a variation off of a taco or a sope. I don't know how much you know about Mexican food, but it's like cactus and salsa and stuff. So it's really cool. It's going all right. I know that I have to eat stuff like bread and rice. I know we've talked about this in the past, to feel filled up, because fruit and vegetables just do not keep me full. And
yeah, but it's fine. Bread and pasta and rice and beans and stuff like that is all gonna make you full, and are all super healthy.
Yeah. So it's cool. I mean, what is this? Day 3? It's day 3, and honestly, I barely even thought about it. Do you hear that? No, it's a motorcycle. But
potatoes too.
What?
Potatoes are great.
Oh, potatoes too. Yeah, for sure.
Potatoes, sweet potatoes.
I will say I have been having cravings for meat, which sucks. It's almost like usually I don't even eat that much meat, right? But the fact that I prohibited it from myself kind of made me think about it more.
Yeah.
But
it's normal.
But I like this challenge. I think you mentioned this too. If you want to talk a little bit about this, if you think this is true, that you said being vegan is also about discipline, that you are choosing things that are healthier for you, even though maybe it's easier to eat, an animal product. You're choosing to do this because of a belief system, because you think it's healthier for you, because you think it's better for the environment, and also because it's not necessarily the easiest option. Is that true?
Well, no, it's not like maybe like raw veganism is really a matter of discipline for me. But being vegan for me is beyond like you wanting to be self-disciplined. It's just whether you decide to take part into animal cruelty and or if you care about your health and the environment. But I think for me, what keeps me vegan over the years is the connection I've made with the animals, for sure. Even though I do believe in the environmental side of it and the health benefits, and I do feel my best that I've ever felt before, um, I think like what's keeping me vegan long term is really that I can connect what's in my plate with, where it comes from.
Yeah, for sure. Would you say that you feel like you have more energy since you've gone vegan?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, yeah.
Can you explain why that is? Do you think it's just more regular energy or?
As I said earlier, I mean, plant-based products are going to digest a lot faster and a lot more easier into your body, and that's all energy that you can spare and use into other activities, whether it's work, exercise. I remember when I first turned vegan and mostly ate fruits, I had so much energy. I would wake up in the morning and be like, Mom, I have to go on the run because I was like, it's hard to explain this, but like I felt like my frequency was like up here, and I was like, and I had to do something like it was like too much. Like I had so much energy, and then like obviously it kind of like stagnated and like found like I don't know, something like
it balanced out.
Huh?
It balanced out is what you're saying.
Yeah, it totally balanced out, but I would say that overall, yeah. And even now, like I can notice that if for example, I go out for lunch and have a heavy, like cooked vegan meal, even if it's vegan, it will affect me differently than if I just had a big smoothie for lunch, because I feel like, or when I do intermittent fasting as well, I'm able to focus so much better. And then like if I have like a cooked breakfast, I will instantly like my energy level and mental clarity, everything will just drop. And I think that some people are just more sensitive to it than others. Like there are people who can just eat pretty much anything and be fine. But I think we're all sensitive to it in some extent, and then it's about also finding what works for you. As you said, like maybe for you, just eating fruits for lunch and like a big smoothie is not going to fill you up. And that's totally fine. We have all different metabolism and also different enzymes in your body that are going to help with digestion. So, having a cooked meal for lunch is great too. I think that being vegan is just like a whole thing, and it can be so many different ways to do it. And it's just about experimenting with different ways of eating plant-based foods and finding what works for you in terms of like health, convenience, energy level, budget, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. My God. I think this is gonna be such an interesting month. I'm so curious to see how my body reacts to this. And I guess for a final question, if that's cool with you, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the vegan community. It seems like I'll let you answer first, and then I'll share my opinion from a kind of an outside perspective.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to know how the vegan community has affected you, has played a role in everything,
Well, when I first became vegan, like the vegan community in 2013, at least in Switzerland, was pretty much inexistent. Like there was no groups or social media. It was really little. So I kind of like started in a world where veganism wasn't a thing at all. And then
because what year did you start in? What year did you start?
2013.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's even before it hit social media. I feel like it started to get big in 2014, 2015, right?
Exactly, yeah. And then like when I became vegan after a year or two, it started becoming a thing, and I found more communities around this topic and way of living. And at some point I was not like very invested in the vegan community, but I did take part in some events and did hang out with a lot of people in the vegan community and a lot of these YouTubers that you see online, raw vegans. It just like went through it was just a whole journey, and I feel like everyone kind of evolved with some people, and I don't know, it's kind of like, for a while I felt like I was listening to some people more and not really to myself so much. And then over time, I got the confidence to really follow my intuition and what feels right for me, and re-question also what I was doing while being vegan, and what I was eating especially. So I think like it's great to meet vegan friends, and I think it can really help you in staying vegan and connecting with people who eat the same way you are and are excited about food and vegan food as much as you are. I think that's awesome.
Right, yeah.
And also, ask for like advice. I feel like for me, when I first started, I really wanted to meet people that were vegan for longer than I was, because I had so many questions about it.
Yeah.
So I think if you know someone that can help you out with that and has a little bit more of experience, or if you want to even go hardcore and contact a, I don't know, vegan doctor or nutritionist, you can do that too. I think that's a great option. But yeah, I feel like the vegan community has evolved a lot, and because of YouTube and all of that, it's created a lot of drama online. I think it's great in the way that like it spread out the vegan message so much faster and so much broader to people than it used to be before. And like now everybody knows what veganism is, and a lot of it is thanks to social media. And a lot more people are going vegan too, because there are some great vegans online who are promoting this in a very healthy and
like natural way,
with
right?
good intentions.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, even like back in the days, like 2015 and stuff, there was already tons of drama around the vegan community, and I think that it's something that just will never stop. The drama will change, but like it's somehow, I don't know if it will ever stop, to be honest. But I try not to get too into that. I mean, in the end, it's what people are doing, and I guess maybe I'm a little bit different than some other vegans, because I'm kind of not really judgmental of what they're doing, you know? It's kind of like, okay, well, they're no longer vegan. Whatever, you know, maybe I'll unfollow them because I'm like, okay, well, what they were sharing on their channel seemed to interest me, but now like they're taking a different route and I'm not interested in that, so I'll unfollow them. I don't know, it's hard also to say who's doing it for the views, and you know, who's being honest and who's not being honest, who's being vegan just to get more attraction onto their channel. So I just try to focus on myself and like get caught into all of that, because in the end, like, you know, they do what they want, whether I think it's good or not. And it's like there are people online, and it's the same with like people in my real life. If they don't want to eat vegan foods, what am I going to do about it? You know what I mean? Like, I can as much like be there as an example, but you know, maybe like, I don't know, like if it didn't work for them or they didn't want it to work for them, it's also a lot of mental, I think. But I mean, I have to say that like I'm not a doctor or nutritionist, so I'm not going to say, oh no, they're like, I'm not going to judge, you know, maybe it makes sense for them to eat animal products. Again, I just feel like in the way, like if you made this connection with the animals, I feel like it's kind of like hard to cross the line again. Like I don't really get that part of it.
Okay, well, I think, oh yeah, actually, you know, I was curious about one last thing. Is plant-based different from vegan, or is that just a rebranding of the vegan ideology, the vegan movement?
No, plant-based doesn't mean vegan. Some people are mostly vegan and they're gonna call themselves plant-based because they're not 100% vegan. Even if they eat 100% vegan, but they consume animal product through, fashion, for example, like leather or wool and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
They might not market themselves as vegan, because I think the term vegan is also comes with a lot of things, and then some people online especially are scared of the backlash and people criticizing them because of not being perfectly vegan.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not willing to take the full term vegan.
Mm-hmm.
And just plant-based means that you're mostly eating plant-based, so you're mostly eating vegan, but you don't want to say yet that you're vegan because you might not be 100% yet.
Mm-hmm.
Or just because you don't want to be associated with the term vegan, because now it's created a lot of drama, and some people just might not want to be part of this community, which I can understand. Maybe, like, I don't know, I think it's up to anyone. It doesn't really matter in the end. It's just like,
Do you think I can pull off this month without a problem?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think anyone can do a vegan month. It's not that hard if you get educated about it. And also, like, make sure you're eating enough and don't restrict yourself. I think that there's any foods you like, you're going to be able to find a vegan alternative for it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're craving that thing, try to find a vegan alternative or cook it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just going to satisfy any craving that you have.
Okay.
Or just find new recipes and new things that you like but you never have tried before.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a really good way also to discover new foods and new recipes, and maybe like this will get your mind off of the usual food you're used to eat. But yeah, I think that in general, if you have any cravings for something that's not vegan, you can always make it vegan. Like any dish, you can make vegan.
Yeah.
It might not taste exactly the same, but it will definitely satisfy your craving, I think.
Yeah, and plus I think, I think it is amazing is that it's so much easier to go vegan now than it was like 5 or 10 years ago.
Sure.
So many more restaurants. I mean, Chloe, okay, so I'll tell you my opinion. I don't think the vegan community, at least from an outside perspective, seems like a positive place. So there's a lot of hesitance, right? But as soon as, like I said, I posted on Instagram, I got so many people reaching out to me, offering recipes, stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, this is cool.
I think the vegan community might sound and look as harsh because of what's happening online, and also all the activism that's happening within vegans. And like, I'm not like the kind of vegan activist that you might see outside in the streets screaming to stop eating meat, because I don't think that's a necessarily very effective way to tell people to stop eating meat.